Okay. Hi, Java. Are you going to help? Okay, Java's going to help. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll come into, we're in a hero's pose. Do you know hero's pose? So you can stay in the easy seat, which would just be however comfortable you are, or if you want to grab a block or just sit straight down. Hero's pose, you can do lightning pose as well. Hero's pose, the heels come to the sides a little bit. Otherwise, we're just going to arrive. So tonight is our last class on balance. So we're going to work on all of our different balances, and you can just find your way wherever you are comfortable. So if that doesn't work out for you, you can always move on to just easy seat. We'll start by just arriving on our mat. That just means find a few moments to take a breath. Maybe closing your eyes or softening your gaze. I'll have my phone with me to check our time. We've just taken a few breaths, slowly arriving, acknowledging your body. We'll take 3 breaths here together. Inhaling deeply, and with our inhale, feel the spine elongating, pulling away from the earth. And on your exhale, feeling your sits bones pressing into the block or into the earth, rooting. Do this about 2 more times, really focusing on the tailbone, the spine, the sits bones, connecting to the earth, balancing our root chakra. On the bottom of your next breath, as you let out all the air from your exhale, we'll do alternate nostril breathing. So taking right thumb to right nostril, inhale through the left nostril, and then take your pointer finger to the left nostril and exhale through the right. And then inhale through the right nostril. Thumb goes to the right nostril. Exhale through the left, releasing the pointer finger. And then continue the cycle, inhaling, switching fingers and nostrils, and exhaling. Inhale, switching, and exhale. Continue breathing like this, finding that balance, feeling the equal breath on both sides of the nostril, both sides of the inhale and the exhale. The bottom of your last exhale, you can release your hand. We'll move into a cat-cow. We already have the cat, we just need the cow. Okay, so I'm going to move my block out to the side and come into a table. So table has hands on equal paws. No, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, dropping the belly into cow, reaching the spine away, opening up the heart and the throat, inhaling. And then exhale, pressing through the fingers, arching the back, pulling the belly button into the spine. Continue this breath and movement at your own pace. Maybe even becoming really mindful of how the breath feels as you inhale and exhale. It's just an exhale, kitty. Okay. Maybe becoming mindful of how the belly feels when the belly button drops in cow and pulls up to the spine in cat. And then we'll come into a neutral tabletop. So find your way. When you've finished, I'm sorry. Coming into our neutral tabletop. And we'll move into a balancing posture. So balancing table. Weight shifts onto the left hands and left knees, reaching the right leg out. Kitty, you're not leaving me a lot of room. So my right toes are on the mat. Taking a second to stretch here. So foot is on the mat, toes are on the mat, heel is down, pressing into that heel to stretch out the calf, the hamstring, wake up the back of the knee. And then we will move into that balancing. Inhale, left arm up, stretching out in front of us, maybe left thumb coming up toward the ceiling. And if you would like to add to that balance, inhale that right heel up, pulling the belly button into the spine, breathing. Now you can hold right here, or see if you can bring the left hand into a cactus. That's just pulling that elbow back. If you want to hold it there, see if you can bring the right knee into a fire hydrant. It's a little challenge. So if you want to just go back to the other, you can. If you want to try reaching fingers and feet opposite directions and then coming back into cactus and fire hydrant. And then we'll do it one more time, reaching and then cactus and fire hydrant. And then release, bringing knees and hands down. And if we want to shake it out, you can. You can even sit back on your knees, stretch out your fingers, maybe even do some circles. Watch your cat for a minute. And when you feel good, maybe shaking out the arms, come back and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So other side. Wow. Switching it up. All right. So this time, weight goes onto the right and left. Stretch the left foot back. Toes are on the mat. Sending energy down the heel. Stretching out the calf, the hamstring, the back of the knee. And then inhale the right hand out. Right thumb going up to the ceiling. You can hold right here or let that left heel float up. You always find how small your space is. So I'm running into my chair and my cat. I'm sure he's going to attack. Okay, we can hold here. Belly button to spine, lower back is active, or bring that right arm into cactus, left leg into fire hydrant. And you could just hold it right here or reach fingers and toes opposite direction, and then cactus and fire hydrant. Once more, reaching out, opposite directions, cactus and fire hydrant. Is that 3? All right, release both hands down, same thing, shake it out. And then we're gonna do a little stretch for our shoulders. We're gonna do a thread the needle. So once we are sorted, sleepy kitty, come back to our tabletop and weight goes onto left hand and left knee. Inhale, right fingertips up in a little twist. And then exhale, dive the right fingers under the left armpit shoulder and ear come down to the mat. You can stay right here with shoulder and ear down, or inhale the left hand up and bring it behind the back. If you do that, it's to help you to open up that shoulder. So feel your elbow pulling your shoulder back. Listen to your body. Breathing into that twist. If your body says no, go back to a traditional thread the needle. Take one more breath here, inhaling and exhale, coming out of the bind if you were there. Slowly supporting your body as you come out, and then we'll do the other side. What side did we just do? I'm twisting. Okay, so this time now we're doing the opposite hand. Left fingertips up. And then exhale, diving left fingers under the right armpit. And same thing. You can stay right here. Or inhale the right fingertips up and pull them back behind your back into a bind behind the back. So it can stop at your lower back, at your hip, or even grabbing onto your thigh. So maybe the right hand comes to your left thigh, but listen to your body, what it needs. Whatever it is, your elbow is inviting your shoulder to open up. Open up that chest, find breath. Take one more deep breath here, and then release the hand, release the bind, and slowly come back up to our table. And from here, we're going to move into a nice child's pose. So knees are as wide as the mat. Knees as wide as the mat. Sending the hips back, toes together. If you need a block underneath the hips, you can. Otherwise, breathe it out, sigh it out. Okay, take one more deep breath. Inhale. Slowly come out of our child's pose. And from here, we'll shift the weight. My hips are going to go down. I'm going to reach my legs out in front. This is called cane pose. So in our cane pose, legs are reaching out in front of us, maybe pointing and flexing the feet, kind of wakes up the ankles and it wakes up the calves a little bit more. And if we have hip issues, loosening up the legs, especially the sides of the legs, calves all the way down, that will help with our hips. Okay, so folding over our cane, inhale, fingertips up, exhale, hinging at the hips, diving forward. You could be at the shins. You could use a block on either side. It doesn't matter where you are. Where you are is where you're meant to be. It just matters that you are trying a micro bend further each exhale. So inhale that spine nice and straight. Don't injure the back for this. And then on each exhale, just micro bend a little bit more. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes magic. Okay, and take one more deep breath in and exhale, coming back up. And we will do a little hip opener here that I'll give you options. So the first option is just a fire leg pose. So fire leg pose would just take one leg on top of the shin, and it may not be pretty, but that's a lot of people will get to. The fire leg pose might be here too. It might not be at all, and that's okay. Or maybe you could have one leg straight and just bringing that leg up. So you have options. You could have a straight leg. You could have fire log, because they're like logs stacked up, and I have a fire behind me, so why not? Or you could try to bring the top foot into the crook of the opposite, and this is lotus. So this is half lotus. If you'd like to try the full lotus, last week we did half lotus, but you choose the one that's going to work for you, and it's okay. So you have legs straight with one leg bent, you have fire log, or you have lotus. You have so many options. Just breathing into this for a moment. Maybe taking a moment to bring the palms up or palms down. We won't stay here for very long. It's just the beginning. This is your journey. So it's okay if we're not there. It's taken me a long time to be here too. Okay, so from here, let's stretch out our arms a little bit. We're gonna do a little eagle. So I'm gonna take my left elbow under my right elbow, and maybe the backs of the palms come together, or maybe the fingers come to the palm. Whatever is working for you, you do that one. This is more about stretching out your shoulders. Inhale the elbows up a little bit. Exhale, feel your legs weighted a little bit more. Even if they're not touching the ground, doesn't matter, but you just feel that they are weighted a little bit more. Once more, inhale, elbows up. Exhale, feel your legs weighting. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, we'll unwind everything that we just did and do the other side, because we have to be balanced, right? So maybe one leg is stretched out, one has come in. Maybe we are in fire log, just shins on top of shins. Or maybe we're in half lotus like we did last time, or full lotus. You choose your adventure, whatever is going to work. Listen to your body. Take a couple breaths here. And then we'll do eagle arms on the other side. So other switching, and it could be palms back of the hands or palms together. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, feel your legs become heavy. Inhale, elbows up once more. Exhale, feel your legs weighted and rooting toward the earth, even if they aren't touching the earth. And release. We'll undo everything that we just did, or unwind, I should say. Bringing our legs out very carefully. And we're going to roll back on hands and knees. Okay, so from here, we did this last week, but we're going to do we're going to do rabbit. So rabbit brings the top of the forehead down, top of the head down to the mat. And then we reach the fingertips back toward the heels. And if you can, maybe you'll inch the head back and see if you can grab the heel, but maybe we're just right here, reaching back. So find what feels good, listen to your body, be gentle with your neck. This is a shoulder opener, and it is good for our chakras. So rabbit pose helps us with our third eye. We're trying to balance our chakras, balance our third eye chakra here. All right, take one more breath in our rabbit. See if we can stretch those shoulders down toward the mat a little bit more, or out toward the heels. Just one more time. And then release. Slowly coming out, and we'll come into a down dog and then into a forward fold. Okay, so down dog. Pressing through the fingers, curl the toes, send the hips up, and just breathing out the back of the legs, if that makes sense. So you're sending energy down the heels. Maybe you're pedaling out So almost like you're walking, just getting a little extra stretch. Your heels do not have to touch the back of the bottom of the mat. You just have to be sending energy down the backs of the legs. That's all. Let your head become heavy. Maybe shake out your neck. Maybe shake out your shoulders. And then slowly, we're going to get our feet between our hands for a forward fold, but maybe just take step one foot in front of the other, slowly bring your way up toward your hands, and then come into a forward fold here. Knees are gently bent, and you can use a block for this too. So if you're not quite reaching the floor and you want that support, that's what the blocks are for. Or just keep sending energy down the fingers, down the head. All right, and then slowly rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae to a standing position. And we're going to do a little star and goddess pose. Actually, we're going to start with goddess. So legs are hip distance apart, toes go opposite directions. So they're going kind of out, heels are coming together. My arms are out and then they come down. We're going to come down into a squat and arms are in cactus. So just like what we did. In your squat, try to send the knees outward. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right. And then, so we're going to shoot up into star, which is just reaching fingers out opposite directions and then coming down into that squat. And we'll do this 4 more times. So 4, squat, 3, squat, go a little bit deeper this time. 2, and a little bit deeper. And your last one, star, and come down into God. Awesome. Take one deep breath here, pulling the hands back to open up that heart chakra. And exhale, release. Bringing the feet to pointing out, opposite direction, same direction. Hinging at the hips, we're going to come down into a forward fold. So if you want to move so that you're not making a really good friend with the person in front of you, just bending forward. Knees can be bent and we're reaching forward. And again, allowing the head to stretch out, the neck to loosen. Now we have an option here. We can add in a skandasana, or we can just move our energy from right foot to the left, maybe even just slightly bending the right knee and moving the hands to the right foot. And then moving over here, left knee bends and the hands come to the left. And if you'd like to add in a skandasana, which is just a one-sided squat, you can do that. Okay, so that just stretches one leg out and you're sitting and then you move back. But you can just stay in the whatever feels good for your body. We'll just move back a little bit, back and forth, find your pace. Make sure that the leg that's straight, if you're coming down to skandasana, that those toes are active. So it protects your leg a little bit more. And we'll do one more, making sure to get even sides, right? So make sure you are even, whatever that takes. And then we'll come back up to a wide-legged fold. We'll just meet in the wide-legged fold. And we'll slowly roll up. So doing all of that, the whole entire thing we just did was to help with our doshas, to make sure our doshas are balanced. I'll explain that all later, but we're going to move into a little chair flow here. All right, so I'm moving to the side so you can see it a little bit more, but bringing the feet either zipped up, legs zipped up close together, or just barely apart. We're going to come into a chair pose, whatever feels good for you. So inhaling, sitting back, arms up, heart open. Weight goes onto the heels, opening up. Take one breath here, inhale and exhale, standing up. Now we have the option that you can just do that once more, or when we do it this time, we're going to do a half chair. So either do full chair or half chair. So half chair is bringing my right leg up to my left knee and doing the same movement, but coming back. Weight is distributed evenly on the left foot. Find your drishti. Whichever one you're doing, take 2 breaths here. And exhale, coming back up. So from here, I'm going to do a little forward fold here just to stretch out the backs of the legs a little bit more. And then come back up and we will do it one more time, but for the other leg. Okay, so sitting back. Inhale, sitting back into my chair. Take one more breath here. Inhaling, chest open. Exhale, sitting back. And then rise up. And again, you can sit back into the chair or do half chair. So this time, weight goes onto the right foot. Inhale the left knee up, left ankle across that knee, and sit back the exact same way. Weight is distributed on one foot now. Take one more breath, inhaling, and exhale, forward fold. We'll take a moment here to breathe in before we get into our next posture. Okay, pressing through the feet, slowly rolling back up to standing. All right, so this time we have options. We're going to do a chair and a twist, and then you can stay in that twist or you can come up into an eagle posture. So yogi's choice today. Okay, so I'm going to inhale, sitting back into chair. Exhale, left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. And I can just stay in this twist right here. Or I can inhale a little bit, right leg comes up, crosses over left. And maybe I'm just going to stay here with my right leg crossing over, like I'm in polite society. Or maybe I'm going to bring that foot around the calf. You choose what works. Whichever, if you are in eagle legs, join me in eagle arms. If you can, find your drishti. One elbow over the other, palms together or backs to the palms. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, sitting back. Then once more, inhale and exhale. And if you fall out, it's okay. You just come back in. Take one more breath and release, unwinding, shake it out. See how it feels. Okay, so same thing. We'll do it on the other side. Sitting back into chair. Right fingertips forward, left come back into a twist. Stay in this twist or inhale, bringing that left leg over the right. And just stay here or wrap it around. One leg will be better than the other. Sometimes it's just being in a different room. And then add in those eagle arms if you are ready. Palms wherever you're at. Inhale, elbows up. Exhale, sit back just a little bit more. Inhale and exhale. Take one more breath and release everything. Take it out. Be really proud of yourself because even if it wasn't perfect, if you weren't doing it, you would never know, right? So we have to challenge ourselves. All right, so from here, we're going to come back into a nice seated position. So slowly coming down onto the mat. And we're going to do a little boat pose because why not? Okay, so boat pose can be feet on the mat, knees bent. You could be holding the backs of your thighs and just allowing the chest to open to come back, activating that core. This might be it for you today, and that's fine. Or maybe you want to release, see how well you can hold it. Or maybe you want to bring those legs up, straight or bent, whatever works for you. We're going to try to take 2 to 3 breaths here. Find the drishti, find the focal, maybe looking at the fire behind me. Not focusing on your belly. One more breath here and release. All right, coming up into our seated position. All right, from here, we'll do that same fold that we did last week, but without standing, bringing my right foot either on into the crook of my left leg or on just next to the thigh. So if you just want to bring this foot next to the thigh, if you want to bring it crook or next to the thigh, whichever one, and then we'll inhale, reaching forward. In a future class, we're going to do this standing. But for now, we're just going to work on feeling this. Now, remember, you could be at your shin. You can use a block too. Blocks are great sources to help us to get a little bit deeper. You can also use one of the belts. So if you're having a hard time just pulling, using that belt, pulling yourself a little bit closer. Okay, and release, and we'll do the same on the other side. So right leg stretches out, left foot in the crook or just right next to the thigh. And then reaching over toward the toes or grabbing that belt, sitting around the foot and just reaching yourself toward it. Toward it being your shin. All right, and release. Releasing from our forward fold, we're going to move into a reverse table. So reverse table, since we're sitting here, feet will be on the mat, knees are bent, and hands are right behind our hips. Now, if you have a hard time with this posture, you could just stay right here, pushing, opening up the heart chakra, opening up heart and throat. So this is helping to balance both of these. This is a great place to be. If you think you can inhale your hips up to make a table, you can do that. Or just go back to what we had before if that's not working for you. We're opening up our heart, but we're also opening up our throat so that we can speak what we need in our hearts so that we are able to be balanced and empathetic for others. And once we're empathetic, it allows others to have empathy for us. Take one more deep breath here and release, coming back down to seated. All right. This is where we're going to get into our legs up the wall. So legs up the wall or legs up the couch, or you can even use a belt for this as well. I was going to use this chair, but someone has occupied it. So if you find your way to a wall or a couch, get your hips as close as you can. And the legs can just go straight up the wall. Or what I would like to invite everyone to do is a Baddha Konasana. So Baddha Konasana, you can choose either one. Stretching the feet out, the legs out. If that feels good, stay there. Or bring the bottoms of your feet together, heels toward your hips, knees apart to open up the hips. So whichever one works for you, just stay here for a moment. This is to help us to balance our crown chakra. And once your crown chakra is balanced, you have a sense of peace, and that you are in the right place at the right time where you are meant to be. Your crown chakra is unbalanced. You might feel lost or like the universe is working against you. If you feel that way, come back to this posture. It's a good one maybe just before bed too. All right, we'll take one more deep breath here. Actually, let's take two. 2 deep breaths. It took us so long to get into this posture. And then we'll do our closing twist posture. At the end of your exhale, find your way into a good spot. Maybe you're still next to the wall, or maybe you're moving into a more comfortable position. If you'd like to stay in this legs at the wall, you're welcome to. There's no reason that you have to move. But we're going to do a supine pigeon and twist to open up and stretch open our hips and our lower back. And this will also act as a short shavasana for us. Okay, so pigeon. If I have my left foot on the mat, knee bent, right leg comes on top. Maybe feel for just a moment the right knee pushing away from the body. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Be gentle. And then if you're feeling it, allow the left knee to come towards your chest and your fingers interlace behind the thigh or over the shin. Or maybe you're just holding on to the knees gently, not pulling. Find what works for you and what feels good. So we won't be doing a shavasana. This will act as our shavasana, but I encourage you to find time for quiet shavasana to release ourselves from our ego, to release ourselves from any of the negative emotions we might have. Help us balance. Okay, we're going to do a little twist here. And so what we're going to do is let the left knee or left foot come back down onto the mat. And you're going to hold on to either, with your left hand, hold on to your right toes or onto your right knee and guide the left knee or the right knee and the right foot across the body. So it might just be a right knee, or it might be a hand to toe, or it might be a hand to cat. Take one more breath here, inhaling, and on the exhale, transitioning back so that we can do the other side. So this time that would be left ankle on your right knee, pausing for a moment to send the left knee out away from the body, and then bring that right knee in towards your chest. Fingertips interlace behind the thigh or over the shin, whatever feels good for you. And then the same thing on this side. Releasing the right foot down, grabbing either the toes or the knees with the right hand, and guide that top, guide the knee over to the right, or maybe holding the foot and toe and allowing it to fall. Find what feels good. Knee or toe. It doesn't matter which one. We're just stretching out, getting a little twist. And your next exhale will release, come back to center, and gently roll ourselves back up into a seated position. So Shavasana would be a great spot right there, but short on time, we'll just come here to a closing position. Easy seat, whatever feels good. All right, from here, inhaling arms up overhead, bringing all the good energy you can, palms together, hands to heart, bowing. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.